Place the front of the trouser right side up and the right side of the pocket facing down. Now align the waist and the side seam together and match any notches you have in between those 2 points. Stitch the required amount of seam allowance. In this case, it is 1 centimeter. It is recommended to keep the seam allowance narrow as it will be a curved seam. Ensure that all the seam allowances are kept exactly together as you stitch the 2 pieces of material. Backstitch to complete the seam. Now press away any seam puckers that may appear. You will now clip into the curved area of your pocket mouth. Clip up to the stitch line but not through it. To avoid cutting through the stitch line, you may place a pin at right angles to where you are cutting. The scissor will not cut through a pin. Now we will understitch by stitching from the right side. Push all the seam allowances towards the facing. Pull the fabric apart as you stitch. This will ensure a roll edge when the understitching is completed. Here you can see 2 lines of stitching. One is the stitch seam line, the other is the understitch line. Here on the top side of the fabric or the garment, you can see the understitching line visible. Here you can see a nice roll edge where the facing is being rolled to the inside of the pocket, and a nice smooth outer edge for the mouth of the pocket. Press that roll edge in place. This is the back of the pocket. Place the pre-prepared self fabric facing on top, matching the waistline and the side seams. Align the notches correctly. Once it's aligned correctly, stitch in place. Now neaten and press to remove any seam pucker. Place the trouser pocket back onto the table right side up. Now place the front of the trouser right side facing you on top of the back of the pocket. Match the waist seam and the outside seam or outside leg. The mouth of the pocket will be slightly bigger than the back of the pocket to allow your hand to go into the pocket. Turn the front of the trouser over and match the pocket bag. Use a pin to hold the waist and the side seam if you need to. Now stitch the pocket bag together. Match your seam allowances and notches. This is the preferred time to overlock the pocket bag together to eliminate bulk. Now that we have completed the left front, we will now prepare the right front by repeating the processes over again. Here you can see I am using a different material to indicate the right and the left side. First, attach the pocket facing onto the mouth of the pocket. Press away any seam pucker. Clip the curved areas up to the stitch line. Clip up to the stitch line but not through the stitch line. Now understitch by pulling the fabric apart slightly and stitching a few millimeters away from the seam. Note that all the seam allowances must go towards the facing. Once you have turned this over, the roll line will naturally roll into place. Now press in place. As an optional choice, I will double top stitch the pocket mouth for a decorative feature. Keep the fabric smooth to avoid any unnecessary wrinkling. With the right side of the pocket bag facing up, place the front on top. Match the side seams and the waist. Now sew the pocket bag together. Overlock the pocket bag together and press away seam puckers.